The top side and thick flank muscles, we need to remove the hip bone and the tail bones. We have a small plate of meat there that we remove, and that can go into our trim for further processing. With the point of the boning knife, work along the side of the fillet or tenderloin muscle, so we release it away from the hip bone. And we work around the back of the bone down onto the ball and socket joint. Just freeing around the small bones in the tail area, and then lifting that small layer of muscle that lies over the top of the bone. This small muscle can go into our trim for further processing. Continue working around the bone . And remove. Next, we want to remove the small belly skirt and any excess fat and blood meat. Following the fat under the rind, we just need to cut through the rind and peel back to expose the muscle beneath. Also peel back the rind from over the top side muscle. Now we have the muscles clearly defined. Following the top seam with the point of the knife, follow down until we reach the main leg bone. So we're not cutting into any meat, just following the natural seam. This point, the thumb or finger helps just follow that seam through. So cutting no meat, just the connective tissue between the muscles. Continue to follow and remove the top side in one piece. Now we have the main leg bone exposed, we can work around it and remove it. Taking care at all times not to cut into any of the underlying muscles. At this point we could remove the bone through the natural knee joint. By doing so, we've left the kneecap on the leg bone. We have one big bone left on the shank. We remove that again, following the natural seam between the muscles. And that can be used for our little pork shanks. Now that all the bones have been removed, we can see tendons, gristles, thick silver sheaths and internal pockets of fat. These can all now be trimmed or removed. Remove any excess fat from around the tail area. Final check to make sure we've got no bone splinters. Around the heel section we have silver gristle, and a centre core of gristly muscle that we just take out, which can be later trimmed for further processing. Next, remove the head of the fillet. And following the natural seam around the thick flank muscle, and using a scraping motion down the seam, remove 2/3 of that portion.